Hello, it's Scott Manley here, and today I'm going to be looking at the B9 Aerospace pack, the newest one. Now, a lot of you remember me fawning over the M27 overview cockpit. This thing, which has the most gorgeous and sexy and amazing IVA view of the lot. Well, they've gone and added a ton of new parts to the pack, and if I just create a new click on new, these are the new cockpits. You basically have a whole bunch of new spacecraft cockpits. Let's start with the Mark II and take a look at it. Now you see it's kind of got a flared body there. They have added this VTOL engine, which is kind of cool, that lets you it basically actuates between horizontal and vertical. I think that's the main engine that's added. Now I can build like a really simple VTOL aircraft with this. Let's just try to do something like stick one of these here, and these, now let me see, these hook in like that, and I have to look very carefully. See the arrow on the back of that? We need the arrow to be pointed in the right direction. And where is that? And it doesn't want to hook in for some reason. Let's try turning it that way. No, it wants, this one hooks on fine, but this one chooses not to. This one is annoying. Let's try it here. Oh, that one hooks in. Maybe it attaches now. Ah, you see, that is an attachment bug, which I have seen many times in the past. Sometimes it takes a little bit of confusion to actually make it attach. So I'm going to go into action groups and attach to custom one the toggle command, just so I don't have to spend forever. Toggle. And we'll activate the engine with these as well, I guess. Activate engine. That's great. Now, we have a very, very simple and mostly balanced aircraft. Before I do anything, the first thing I'm going to do is hit 1 to activate everything. And so look at that, it goes into vertical takeoff and landing, VTOL. But the best thing about the B9 packs is their awesome attention to detail on their interiors. Now, not everything is functioning in here, but these MFDs, all three of these work, and I can click on, well, we have the flight data display, but I don't know why I'd want it there. Let's click back and go to my fuel display, let's say. So I'll have my fuel on my left, pan around, and I'll do flight data here because, you know, let's face it, flight data like in the middle makes a lot of sense. And on the right, it says gunner module not installed. Of course, this is the same MFD code that was found in Firespitter. So let's just do that. Let's set ASAS or something. There's also a reboot button and everything. Anyway, let's see if there's any other awesome Easter eggs and stuff hidden around here. I'm not seeing anything. I'm sure all these lights and stuff make sense to people, but not to me because I'm not a real pilot. I'm going to come out just so you can see what happens here. So now we've got the engines running. Let's fire them up. Let's see if we can get some air. Hey, look, I got my little like floating VTOL thing. Sausage style. I don't know. This is my flying car, for reals. Let's try and do my usual thing and try to land it on top of a building. Of course, I have no landing gear and therefore I will probably kill myself. Not kill myself, but, you know, make them die. Oh, look, there's actually 2 pilots in this I had not noticed. Look at that. It actually shows my climb rate here. I should probably cut back. Of course, cockpit visibility leaves a lot to be desired. But that is just the nature of the game, really. I think I'm going to come out of the cockpit and I'm going to try and stop myself. I'm going to aim for the spaceplane hangar because that's where we just came from, right? So kill my lateral velocity, and I probably need a little more vertical. Oh, look, you can actually see the remains of a previous attempt there. A previous somewhat successful attempt, obviously. Let's come in. So yeah, the whole B9 thing is like, you know, very angular sci-fi looking parts, right? And the cockpits are a prime example, but when you get into the fuselage section, you'll really see what I mean there. And let's just put it. Yay, look, I'm on the roof. I'm on the roof. And let's roll down. I wonder how tough these cockpits are. Let's do a drop test. Nice to see that the thing has a proper collision mesh on it now. Previously that roof did not do proper colliding. Anyway, let's go back in flight and let's take a look at some other spacecraft with it. So we'll go to the spaceplane hangar, just show you some of the other parts. Most of the sections you'll find here, there is actually an avionics package which is designed to stick on the front of this. Nice. And of course I can then take this and build myself out a fuselage section. So let's find the relative bits. There are so many fuselage sections in here. Also, there are all these plates. You know, if you want to build a better Orion class cruiser, this may be the one for you, because I had to. This means this will cut the number of parts down. So I might actually go back with the B9 and build some truly awesome spacecraft that actually flies. Maybe I'll make it a carrier for an awesome looking thing. There's also protective railings you can have on the side, you know, so we could stick those around the cockpit. We could have like a little walkway around the outside of the cockpit to make sure he doesn't die. Bite-sized industries, nothing to do with that. That is the fire spitter pack. Crew tank. Oh, that's interesting. Not what we need though. I need to find a suitable transition section, and I've seen them. And I found them previously, but right now they are eluding me. I guess we can have this backward. We can do this. Not what I'm thinking right now. We need some sort of... that's too big. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's a nice little... What did I add there? It's just a fuel tank. Liquid fuel. Excellent. And from there, I think there may be parts that expand to larger sections, you see. So I can actually just do this. Build it out bigger. I can add this whole intake thing if you want, although that doesn't match up. I'm sure there is some adapter that actually matches one to the other, but that would actually be some effort to find. I could do that, I guess. That would make it look more... Does that make the adapter... Oh, my goodness. And once again, we've got the thing sitting over there. I don't know why the collision detection on this can be rather weird. Okay, yeah, that is just looking really bad, and I'm not selling this thing, am I? Yeah, you have engine mounts as well, so you can build, like, go from here, have some fuel tanks, and then have like the engine mounts on the back, so you can build some really awesome, like, angular sci-fi looking spaceships. But of course, you know, it's much better to actually look at something that's already been built, and I might as well load the parts that came with it, or load the models that came with it. And the first one is, of course, the BRV Heinlein. So yes, here we have the BR Heinlein sitting on the launch pad, or sitting on the runway anyway. It is a space plane, and of course it has the awesome B9 cockpit, which is just full of amazing details such as important papers and crosswords, cool display, which is broken obviously, covered by a post-it note. Switching over to my other dude, he has post-it notes that warn him to avoid counterclockwise rolls or the screws will come undone. That does tell you what way that tells you what way the Kerbals have their screws done in. Replace before flight. Pre-flight checklist. Crew in place, fully fueled. Is there a rocket behind you? Do you know what these buttons do? No! Afraid of heights. Are seats nice? All systems normal. What? Checked off by Bob K. Not bad. And fridge. Never mind the wires. And more important, papers and crosswords. Anyway, yes, full of all the instrumentation you need, of course, to do great things. And ready for liftoff. And I'm going to, of course, come outside again. As I said, it's B.R. Heinlein, named after Robert Heinlein, which was, of course, a hugely important science fiction author, and probably most famous for writing Starship Troopers, popularizing the term Space Marine, whatever Games Workshop says about it. And for some reason, my brakes are not disengaging. That's great. Why are you not disengaging? So much for Oh, there we go. It's finally figured it out. Those brakes maybe have a very long delay in them. Yeah, he was in the Navy in the 30s, I think. And then he got tuberculosis and was discharged. And then he got into like science fiction writing. And I remember a particular story, and I think it was Larry Niven that wrote it. Basically, the whole thing was, I'm a time traveler that doesn't like the way things have turned out. For some reason wants to screw up America in the past. So he travels to like 1930s with antibiotics, and basically his plan is to cure Robert Heinlein of his tuberculosis, so he stays in the Navy and doesn't write all his fiction. Which is kind of an amusing concept. I dig the notion. But, again, Robert Heinlein, he was very libertarian leaning, I guess. And, at the same time, I'm not sure he would agree with Starship Troopers, the movie, which was obviously a hilariously good movie, even though not everyone realizes how not serious some of the stuff is. But this thing flies pretty well. Let's do the usual buzzing the tower and try to do it. Okay. I'm probably gonna crash this thing. No, I didn't mean to do that. What I meant to do was... Oh, crap! Okay. Here we are. And... Oh, nice! The collision mesh works! Excellent. Let's get this thing around. Let's get this thing around and get it on course for some sort of orbit. It has some sort of ASAS installed. We will take this and see if we can get it headed towards space, because we need... this is actually bigger than most space planes I've ever built. I'm really a minimalist when it comes to space planes, because frankly I'm not very good at them. And honestly, I tried for a while to build some really cool planes with this thing, and every single one of them crashed horribly. So, don't be surprised if your space planes crash horribly in Kerbal Space Program. That's just what happens in the game. So, okay, let's start getting some height on this thing. There is actually, we probably don't need to do that. Let's just fire up the rockets and see how far up we can go. Look at that. Of course, it's not using the aerospikes, which is interesting. It's getting up. Taking altitude. I wonder if I could land this thing. That might be a better plan. Because you want to see the other cool things on board, right? It'd be probably sexier if I actually went and crashed this thing, right? Okay, let's try bringing this thing around. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna bring this over the top. And that is 180 degrees, so we're headed south. And there is probably where the runway is going to be, so I'm just going to nose down. Oh my goodness, will this thing work? Look, you can hear the engines picking up a whole lot of speed there. And this thing handles really awfully. Actually, not true. It handles really well, but it's giant and slow. And I think, you know what? Okay, gotta pull out of this dive. Gotta pull out of this dive. Pull out of this dive. Okay, well, so much for that. We wanted to see the other spacecraft. I deliberately crashed that thing, right? Let's go back to the spaceplane hangar and see what else there is. We have the load. BRV Heinlein, and I gotta try and remember which one. The Strugatsky. Yes, well that's a name that everyone knows, I'll bet you, huh? Look at this thing. It uses, of course, the expanding, what do you call it? It starts with the Mark V cockpit, and then it expands out, and then there's these wing sections. These are awesome. These are just so cool. The wings, I think, contain fuel. You have a whole cargo bay there. This is like total Bond villain style aircraft. Look at that. This thing could like fly up and catch other aircraft inside it. In fact, I should try that in a future video. So let's go and launch this thing. So here we are on the landing, on the airfield again with the Strugatsky. I wonder which button closes the doors. Yes, 2. I totally guessed that without actually looking at it. So obviously it's named after the Strugatsky brothers, Arkady and Boris Strugatsky, who were science fiction writers in the 60s and 70s, and actually into the 80s, I believe. Okay, I did the same mistake. So the one button is bound to an action group, right? And if I want to activate the engine, right, the one button will activate the engine and close the air intake. So I end up having to go in. Let's put the brakes on. Activate the engines manually. That's a minor problem, but it makes sense. I should probably just fix the staging on these things. Never mind me not knowing how to fly this. And while we're here, let's take a look at the awesome cockpit. Oh, wait, no. Okay, I guess that is still a work in progress. But hey, we'll get to that at some point, I'm sure. It is definitely still being developed. So let's... Yes, there we go. 6 engines. Let's see how well this thing flies. As in, let's see if I can... I'm going to try and land this thing for reals this time. You see there is... It looks like... Is that RCS or something? What's that? Maybe it's my avionics. Oh, look at that! This thing is totally agile. Okay. Let's turn this around. Let's just try and do a loop of the airfield and then come around. I'm going to try and stay low. Yes, I know. People probably reminds people of a certain B-29 crash. Was it B-29? I don't know. Big B-52. I don't know. It was a big ass plane that went sideways into the ground. The pilot was a bit of a daredevil, and he dared too much. He chased the devil, or whatever. Went beyond the limit. Found his aircraft going into the ground sideways. I just watched a video basically that showed all his air show work and everything. He was definitely a great pilot, but sometimes things go wrong, and if you're pushing the limit, you don't have time to correct for it. There's limits to risk. Let's see. Okay, so are we doing good? Okay, let's turn around now, and I'll try and land this. This flies beautifully, I have to say. I don't know who designed this, but sir, your design skills are marvelous. Look at the number of wheels on this thing! That's probably my problem. I always just put like 3 wheels on my planes regardless of how big it is. Okay, I'm totally gonna have to correct. And, okay, let's cut power. There we go. Let's try and get it relatively near the middle. I'm just running without any power at all. Okay. Look at this! Oh my goodness! If I can just bleed off enough speed and get some vertical... Hey! Look at that! I'm not such a bad pilot after all. I'll have to go and read some Russian science fiction now, in which Scotsmen can actually fly aircraft. Let's look at another aircraft. Okay, so the final one that is included is the I-8L Bradbury. Of course, named in honor of Ray Bradbury, a hugely important sci-fi author. Again, who'd have guessed it? I like the ladders and stuff that are incorporated with this. Oh man, there's some pretty pieces. I don't know what that is. It looks like a... I think that might actually be a guidance unit or something. Not a guidance unit, like an avionics system. That looks... Yeah, it's an avionics unit, right. So that obviously helps things fly better. Again, look at the action groups. You find that this engines and everything will all turn on and off. Ooh, what is this? B20... I'll figure out what that does. 3, 4, 5, 6... Yeah, never mind. I'll just hit space to activate the engines. Get lights and everything. Holy moly, this thing is looking amazing. Let's try flying this. So yeah, Ray Bradbury was most famous, I think, for Fahrenheit 451. But he wrote a bunch of other things, and very important writer. And he only just died very recently. You know, And I remember reading how he used to go into his local library and pay like 10 cents or something to use typewriters. They would have rental typewriters in the basement, and that was where he wrote his work initially. And then, of course, he got successful and he could afford his own typewriter. Okay, look at... Oh, this is actually not so bad. This is totally responding. If I can just ease the back up. Oh, yes, we're getting air. Ah ha ha ha. Beautiful. Now, what do all these other buttons do? Well, first thing is, look at inside this beautiful cockpit. It's basically the standard cockpit. That's what it is. In fact, yeah, it's not a beautiful cockpit. It's the standard Mark I cockpit, but it is embedded inside the model of their particular cockpit. So yeah, I guess there's some work to be done there, but I don't doubt that they will work on this and improve it. Nonetheless. Okay, what do the other action groups do? No. Oh, yes. That's not so bad. I mean, yeah, they've definitely, with the B9 stuff, they started out with the idea of doing very nice, high-quality, sci-fi looking parts. And they started out with the B9, the B9 cockpit or whatever. And now, of course, they've created a bunch of very angular plane parts. But actually, they work very well in all sorts of capacities, you know, especially since they have, you know, the railings and stuff. You can really use them to build some nice space stations, space bases and things like that. It frankly has a lot of potential, and it's going to take me a long time to figure out how to actually use the parts, but I really wanted to do a bit of a feature on the B9 guys, this file, this mod, because it's just, you know, it's really nice and complete. It contains a lot of great stuff. Yeah, let's try and bring this around and try to get it in here. Let's try buzzing the tower this time. Yeah, I shall not make that stupid Top Gun quote anymore because I've got it right? Okay, let's see how close I can go. Let's see if I can clip the wings off it, because that'll be comical. Not that I don't like, you know, Ray Bradbury, I just thought it would be... I'm thinking it might be amusing to see if I can get close enough that I can knock the wings off it without destroying the rest of the plane. Yeah! Look at that! Nice! That was a pretty darn epic crash, right? That was pretty darn awesome. So yeah, it's a B9 pack. I've barely scratched the surface here. There are so many extra pieces. As I said, there's all these structural pieces, right? Down on the end here, where if you want to build something that looks like my Orion class carrier, you'll be at a huge advantage, because look, these are just flat pieces that you can use to build things. Look at that. No, that one. Nope. Come on. Oh, dear, dear. Yeah, never mind. You get big flat plates and you can bond them together. Let's try this. Come out. You can build giant Borg cubes, I bet you, with this. Look at that, eh? Yeah, we can totally build, like, Borg cubes. Nice. I'll have to do something proper with this. And yeah, you know, if you want to have like a platform on top with railings around the side, you can do it. Look, this is of course a totally impractical plane. I'm just trying to show you the parts now. Like, there we go. Railings so you can protect your Kerbals, because, you know, Kerbals are very famous for falling off of things instead of dying in plane crashes or rocket crashes. You know, things. Oh, there we... What? I can never get the rotations right, thank you. There, look, it's like they can wing walk. How awesome is that? They're 4 meters. Nice work. So yeah, another thing that occurred to me was these cargo bay doors actually can be used for a number of nefarious purposes. And once I get this thing airborne, we shall be able to demonstrate. Now, of course, if I had the skill I would be able to build a dedicated aircraft to demonstrate my evil plans, but I shall have to just rely on this model here, because anything I build randomly flips out and kills everyone aboard. So if I flip this thing upside down, well, if I turn this around, let's turn it around hard. Come on. I want to kind of flip out. Actually, let's come out a little, and we'll do a little turn this way. This flies incredibly nicely. This flies better than some of my really small aircraft. I am frankly flabbergasted by the rigidity that this thing has. Obviously Russian built. It feels like a solid piece of technology. Okay, coming around, and hopefully there'll be something there. Okay, that sounds pretty good. Right. So now flip upside down. Press 2 to open the open this. And space. There we go. Bombs away. So yeah, if you're really smart, you could probably build yourself, bomb bay doors. That would actually probably require skills that I don't have, but at least I didn't destroy the aircraft there, huh? Victory roll. Let's try seeing if we can do a very pretty looking crash with this one, just to demonstrate the awesomeness. So let's try and clip a wing off it again. Let's try and clip a wing off some of this. What shall I hit? Try and hit the space plane hangar. It'll take a little bit of aiming. I know, sometimes, you want to do like the reusable space program and get everything all lined up, and the reusable space program is continuing. I'm just currently doing a lot of boring refueling stuff and trying to get the interesting bits on video. Okay, here we go. Down a little lower, little lower, little lower, little lower. Ah, man, I totally missed it. Okay, damn it. This thing is like totally showing off. Okay, try again. I'm gonna try and take a wing off it on something, because I think wings falling off are always, pretty cool looking. But it is so hard to crash planes reliably the way you want them to. Okay, I'm just too high. I need a better run up towards this thing. It's like totally just... No! I clicked outside of my window. I clicked outside of the window and therefore lost control for a second. Okay, let's go the other way. This is your captain speaking. Shortly we will be coming in to the airport and losing a wing, because it looks cool on camera. Please fasten your seatbelts and extinguish all cigarettes. Make sure your seat trays are in the upright position. There we go. Tray tables and seat backs are in the upright... I don't know, I can't remember this. I've flown quite a bit, but I don't... That was pretty cool! Oh, look at that! Wow! Yes, nothing in the cockpit, unfortunately. Hey! You know what they say? The landing you can walk away from clearly wasn't fast enough. Okay, well, I'm Scott Manley. Fly safe.